Tomorrow is a big news event for the US because CPI will be released, and month over month is still forecasted at 0.6%, but year over year is now being forecasted at 7.9%. CPI is an important news event because it measures inflation, so stay tuned for our live stream tomorrow during the news event. Tomorrow, the unemployment claims will also be released in the US. They're forecasted to sit around 220,000. GDP numbers for the UK will be announced on Friday, and those numbers are forecasted to drop from negative 0.3% to negative 0.4%. Now let's go ahead and check out a currency pair inside of the EdgeFinder. So here we are looking at the score chart summary inside of the EdgeFinder, and the pair I wanted to take a look at today is GBP USD.
Black Friday doesn't have to look like this. We're doing our annual Black Friday sale with 40% off store-wide. Our biggest discount of the year on our EdgeFinder, our Discord, our trading courses, and more. There has never been a better opportunity to get in on the action. Use the code A1YT at checkout for a 40% off discount.
Because we have US CPI numbers coming out tomorrow and GDP information for the pound for the UK coming out on Friday. So ahead of both of those news events, I figured we could go ahead and take a look at these numbers, and so we can go back and compare them Thursday and Friday to see how it has changed. So starting off, we do have a neutral score with a sell or a bias of -2. And this is really leaning towards a sell because that -2 just is just right on the verge of being a sell. So this is really just like a soft sell for pound USD. The dollar seems to be losing some of the momentum that it's been gaining over the past couple weeks, and the pound has just not been doing well over the past month overall. So we'll see what these GDP numbers come out like, but right now it's not looking good for the pound as GDP is expected to drop. So let's see, we have our score of -2 as like we mentioned, and COT data also has a score of -2, and we can look at that right down here. So US COT data sits at 77.17% long and 22.83% short, whereas the pound sits at 30.47% long and 69.53% short. So institutional traders heavily favored long on the dollar and pretty heavily favored short on the pound. Retail sentiment is 48% long and 52% short, so retail traders are almost 50-50 on the pair. So that's going to give us a neutral score because it's not really leaning one way or the other. Seasonality has a score of +1, and here in November, we can see our all-time average and last five-year average, historically speaking, both showing upward trends moving from November to December, as well as an upward trend from October to November, which we did see here with our current year average. We see an upward move from November to December. And historically speaking, we see one from October to November, and historically speaking, we see one from November to December as well. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Trend reading is a score of +1. So this means that this market actually over the last couple days, and we can see that here from November 4th to today, November 9th. So for the past 5 days, this market actually has been trending in the right direction. And from October 21st to the 29th, almost to the 31st, it was kind of doing the same thing before a slight move downward and a little bit of a upward trend again. So with a +1 trend reading score, that means that this market, as of right now, is actually in a soft move up. GDP growth, inflation, unemployment, and interest rates have scores of -1, -1, +1, and -1. And this is where we're kind of getting the sell score here. Fundamentally speaking, this should be a sell because pound, GDP growth, inflation, and interest rates all are doing worse than the US dollar. However, trend-wise, it is trending up a little bit. So if you're a trend follower, you could wait and see if this market continues to break to the upside and see if you can catch a trade there. But if you trade fundamentally, after these news events, we'll get an even better idea of how this market is going to move ahead. But yeah, fundamentally speaking, this is not looking like a buy. But we can go over the numbers here. Pound GDP 0.2% compared to US dollars 2.6%. Again, we're getting new pound GDP numbers on Friday. Unemployment for the US sits at unemployment for the pound sits at 3.5% compared to US 3.7%. So that's the one area that the pound is actually beating out the dollar. Inflation for the pound 10.1% compared to US 8.2%. And again, tomorrow CPI numbers are coming out. So we are expecting this inflation to drop to 7.9%. That is what's currently forecasted. And lastly, interest rates, pound 3% compared to dollar 4%. So again, there's a lot going on here with this pair. Currently an overall score of -2, so it seems like it's leaning towards a sell. Fundamentally speaking, it definitely is. But trend-wise, it is trending upwards a little bit. So, and historically speaking, seasonality would fall into that trend reading category. Historically speaking, it does actually tend to move up. So over the next couple of days, this will definitely be a pair to look out for to see if it breaks out one way or the other. Now we're going to check out some analysis from today's live stream featuring TraderNick, Gary, and Tom.
Guys, we might have to take a trade here on the stream today. CAD CHF. Let me see. We talked about this one yesterday. CAD CHF. We'll go down to CAD. Where is it? I'm blind. CAD CHF right here. Do we have a buy rating? Yep. Okay. Let me go through this. So this was on our watch list yesterday, and it's tagging that zone that we liked. Okay, so trend reading, nice upward trend. GDP and interest rates favoring Canada. Inflation, unemployment favoring Japan. Retail sentiment. Crowd is pretty long in this one, so that's not the best scenario, but other things seem to outweigh it. So you got COT data that's in our favor. I think it's worth a stab, and I like this level. We talked about this yesterday, so I am actually going to look to take a trade here. So we're going to take a trade on stream. So, you know what we need? I'm going to just say this. Producers on the back end, you know what we need? We need something where when I take a trade on stream, we get like some animation, like, I don't know, something falling from the heavens, or, on stream trade or something like that. I feel like it would be a cool animation. We're going to take a trade here. I do like CAD CHF long. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I want to put a stop loss below this low. I had mentioned yesterday looking for about a 25 to 30 stop. So let's do this. We're going to go, let's look at structure. So I just don't want to see that level breakout by much. I'll give it some room, but I think a 25 pip stop loss. I don't hate this. So we're going to go 25 pip stop. I like the rocket. The rocket is cool. I think we could use a, gotta cut it off before the new notion. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think like something, I don't know what the animation would even be, but it would be cool. Like whenever a stream trade is taken, that'd be fun. CAD CHF against USD CHF first, Nick. I do like CAD Swiss by itself, so I'm just going to take the trade. This is one that I like. I'm going to risk $400 on this one. I'm going to put 157,000 units, so that's a 1.57 lot size on this trade. And I'm just going to go for this. So I'm double checking everything. Stop loss at 25 pips, risking $398.53. And we are in. Okay, let me just say this as I take a trade. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your trading account. This trade is one upon thousands of trades that I have and will take in the future. Just because I'm in a position here does not mean that this trade is going to 100% work out. This thing could take out my stop loss by lunchtime today, and I'm fully accepting that possibility. When you place a stop loss on your trade, what you do is you accept that that stop loss could get hit. And the sooner you understand that as a trader, the better. So let me make sure I get this out to members. So give me just 1 second as I'm gonna have to write this up on stream here.
Euro US dollar. Take a quick look at Euro US dollar right here. We noticed that Euro US dollar is in this downward trend. If I go ahead and put up some technicals right here, we've seen this big downside trend right here in the Euro US dollar. Clearly, once again, stronger dollar, weaker euro that's caused this downside move right here. And so we're now looking for a turnaround, and we're already starting to identify those structures. So there may be levels of resistance and support that we may need to look at, dig deeper into this. And as I go ahead and take my technical analysis away from here, and I go ahead and build out something here, we can see that price has gone ahead and taken out that high. And let's just see here. Let's just see if we've actually got a confirmation based on MACD here. So we take a look over here. We did have a low, high. This was a high right here. Then we had another high up here. There was a low. Here's a high. Traders, if you look at the structure right here, all right, if you look at this right here, this was, and you connect the bottoms and tops, this was a downtrend. But now take a look over here. What are we starting to see? We're starting to see higher highs and higher lows. The trend is changing. Where it was down, now we're seeing a change in trend, which means that traders, that this rally, we could see a little dip, then a continuation of the rally. So in the short term on the euro, we could look for some sells on the euro, pick up some profits on the downside, and then wait for the turnaround and start buying back up again, because we're looking for this to be just a correction move in the short term and then a midterm rally on the long term.
Let's look at pound US dollar, guys. So, yeah, what are we seeing here? Let me remove everything. I'm going to do an absolute trade with you. I'll keep this diagonal line in. Actually, no, let's take it out. So, Endeavour, are you ready? We are going to do a top-down approach just for you. So this is how I trade, guys. First of all, weekly chart. Let's have a look. What is the weekly chart telling me? So the weekly chart, again, you don't have to be Warren Buffett, is telling me that this is in a downtrend. Okay? Yeah. But we have had a lot of buying pressure recently. Okay? We do have an area of potential resistance here, which was this last low. And we've also got this moving average 20, which can also act as a piece of resistance. But I still think we have a little bit of room, yeah, potentially up to this last low here. All right. I think we have a little bit of room back up to here. Okay. So, yes, it's not easy with a mouse. Okay, so on the weekly chart, in a downtrend, but we're getting a lot of buying pressure. Even this candle on this wick here, still buyers are pushing it up. All right, so that's what I'm seeing on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, guys, yeah, we have had a structure break, haven't we, recently? So for weeks on end, it was all about how strong is the dollar. That's all we spoke about. We were like, isn't the dollar so strong? That's all we spoke about, okay? But then, like I say, we got a bit of buying pressure here, okay? And now we have started changing structure, okay? So we've got higher lows, yeah? And here, we've got higher highs. So structurally, we are in an uptrend on pound US dollar on the day chart, okay? So let's bear that in mind. We need to start plotting our important gray zones, okay? So this has become an important area for this pair, yeah? As you can see, this here was the last swing low on the daily chart, came up, it's tested this area again, and it's shot up again, okay? So that's an important zone. So structurally, we are in an uptrend, yeah? I still think we could make this gray zone a little bit bigger, or include this at least. We need to include these last lows and this last high here. Okay. I'm now making the gray zone just a little bit bigger, so we include this high here. This is the low. So yeah, we still have a little bit of room up to this gray zone here. We even still have a little bit of room up to these last highs. Yeah. So either way, yeah, structure is in an uptrend, and I think we have a little bit of room to the upside. Yeah, we still have room to this gray zone or even this last high. So what I'll be looking for, guys, is perhaps a dip down, maybe what I look for is then perhaps a H1 structure break or even a H4 structure break, something that tells me that price can then start coming back up. All right, guys, so that's what I would be looking for, guys. If we drop down to the H1 chart, yeah. So structurally at the moment, guys, yeah, we are clearly in a downtrend. We were in an uptrend, yeah, but then as soon as this broke, even this low broke, yeah, you can see we are structurally on the H1 chart in a downtrend. So for me to start buying this pair, what I want to see, guys, is a change in price structure. So this is in a downtrend. Perhaps we see something like this. Yeah, and then we can start buying this pair around here if we see this H1 structure break. All right, guys, so that's what I want to see on pound US dollar, because I'm still following the day trend, and I still think we have a bit of room to the upside before we start hitting that weekly resistance. Okay, get a turnaround in the H1 structure, becomes an uptrend, we can start buying it back up to the highs.
Make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you need broker recommendations, access to our free Discord, or want to chat with us on Telegram. If you're interested in our trading software, the EdgeFinder, you can find that in the description as well. Thanks for watching.